Hi everybody, this is Kyra with Kyra's Cozy Creations. I got into making the chunky yarn blankets, throws, stuff like that probably about a month or 2 months ago. After I got comfortable making some blankets and stuff, I really got interested in wanting to make some dog sweaters for my dogs. So I started doing some research and I could not find a tutorial anywhere on how to do a dog sweater without the knitting tools. And that's something that I really wanted to do was, make one of these chunky yarn dog sweaters, but without the knitting tools. So with that being said, I have gotten a lot of requests for how to do a tutorial. After it took me a couple of weeks on how to figure it out and how to put everything together, I got asked to do some tutorials on the dog sweaters. With that being said, here we go. So for this dog sweater, I'm going to be using the Baby Bee Cuddly One. The color is Pinkaboo. You can find this at Hobby Lobby. This is actually one of my favorite yarns to use for dog sweaters because it's really soft, and so far dogs seem to really love it. So here I have made the first stitch. So for my dog, here are her measurements. You're going to want to get the measurements on the dog that you're doing this for. So my dog, her neck is 13 inches, her length is 21, and her girth is 21. This yarn in particular is not super stretchy, so you want to go a little bit bigger than the neck size so that it can comfortably fit around your dog's neck. So we're just going to start making the stitches. And you're going to want to have a tape measure handy for this. That way you can keep track of how big it is. You can count the stitches when you're doing this, but like for this yarn, 13 stitches could be 13 inches. But another type of yarn I use, which is the Eternal Bliss yarn from Hobby Lobby. Sorry, my cat is in play mode right now. The other yarn I use is Eternal Bliss. So like 13 stitches in it could end up being like 16 inches long. So that's why it's helpful to have a tape measure handy for this. Right. Let's see where I'm at with that. Alright, so that's 11. And since you guys can see my cat in the background, he was actually a rescue. We adopted him a couple years ago from an animal shelter, and we got the backstory on him. He was actually really badly beaten and abused. So we adopted him and we are working on getting him back to full health. And as you can see, his hair is not completely grown back in yet. He's kind of a work in progress, but he's a total sweetheart even after being through everything that he went through. All right, so that's 14 inches. So now what we are going to do is you want to bring these around, okay, because you're going to connect these. This is like where we first started. So you're going to go to that first stitch right here. So right here. Okay. So then you're going to take where we finished off and then this first stitch and you're going to reach through. You're going to reach through. And they're still connected, see? So I have my fingers still in there. and then pull that through. And then you're going to do that again, the next stitch. And you're just going to keep going around like that. But you just want to keep going through the stitches until you get back around to the beginning. And you don't want to pull super tight on this because, you know, this is the part that is going to go over your dog's head and around their neck. So you want it to, you know, really fit comfortably. We're almost back to the beginning. All right, so we're back to the beginning. So this is how the collar should basically look so far. I know it looks small, but I promise it's gonna fit my dog. So I like mine to be a little bit thicker than this. So I'm actually going to go around again. And you want to, let me find it, there it is. So you want to go through the top stitch here. You don't want to go on the inside because then that's going to start making it smaller, and then it's going to be harder to fit around your dog's neck. So you just do the same thing. All the way around. I'm still pretty new to this, so I can't exactly tell you what these stitches are that I'm doing. But I know how to do them. I'm horrible at remembering the names for them. So I'm sure somebody else, they can help with that part. Almost back to the beginning again. All right, so as you can see, we are back to the beginning. So this ended up being pretty thick. Okay. So then what I'm going to do, so this was the last one that I pulled through. So we're just going to pull this through. And I already had like some of this pre-cut, so I'm just gonna pull this through. Okay, and then you're just gonna wanna like go in the next stitch right there. And go ahead and cut that some. And then you're gonna tie a knot. Maybe, if my fingers will work. Okay, so here is your collar that goes around their neck. And then this is like the little tail where we started. We're gonna leave that on there for now. Okay, so now on to the body. All right, so for the body, like I said, my dog is, her length is 21 and her girth is 21. The girth you want to go probably just a little bit bigger. That way, you know, it fits comfortably around them. The length, I measured from her neck down to her tail. Now, obviously, you may not want it to go that far just because, you know, you don't want it to get in the way if they're wearing outside and, you know, they need to go potty. So you don't want it to get in their way. So we are going to go on ahead and make the first stitch. I tied a knot in mine. I just find it's helpful to do that. I do that with my blankets as well. You're going to make them probably about an inch or so. You're just going to start pulling the loops through. And still keep your tape measure handy, because you're going to be measuring this too. I mean, just like we did with the neck. I apologize now if you hear my dogs go absolutely crazy. They think they need to make sure I'm aware when the leaves blow, so they get a little loud sometimes. All right, let's see where we're at with that. All right, that is 13 inches, so keep going. Like I said, you're just going to keep pulling them through until you get to the length for your dog's girth. It's 16. Okay, a little bit. That's 20. So put it down some. Like I said, definitely keep your tape measure handy. Alright, so that's 21. We're going to go one more. Okay, and then what we're going to do, so here's where we finished. You're going to go to this stitch and pull it through. Just like that. So every stitch, you're just going to go, pull it through. I'll show you what it looks like here in just a second. As I'm pulling them through, they're probably about an inch big. I'm gonna kind of stick with that. Like I mentioned before, this yarn is not super stretchy, so you don't want to pull everything too tight, because then it's, you might measure correctly, but if you're pulling it really tight, then it's going to probably be really tight around your dog, and you don't want that. Okay, and back into your stitch. Okay, so there's your second row. Okay, and then you just keep going with this until you get to the length that you want. So like I said, my dog is 21 inches long, but I'm probably gonna go shorter than that, just because, like, if I let her wear it outside, I don't want it to get in the way when she goes to the bathroom. Sorry, sweatshirt's getting in the way. I'm not super fast at this either, so I mean, but that's okay because I enjoy doing this. So, if it takes me a few hours, this is kind of peaceful to me, so I'm okay with not being too fast at it. Okay, so there is our third row. And like I said, you just want to keep going with this until you get to the length that you want. So I'm going to keep going, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it gets to the length I want. All right, so as I said, you would keep going until you got to the length that you want. So now what we're going to do is we are going to close it off or cast off. So this was our last stitch here. This is the stitch in the row. To do that, put your fingers through both of them. Grab the yarn, pull it through. Sorry. Okay, so this is the one that we pulled through. This is your next one. Put your finger through. Pull the yarn through. And yep, there goes my dog, like I said. The leaf must be blowing outside. But you're going to keep doing this all the way down your row until you get to the end. You don't want to pull too tight when you're doing this either, because then it's going to make your ends come in and it's going to end up being tighter around your dog. So I honestly, when I'm doing this, I make my loops a little bit bigger. I'm not a left-handed person, so trying to cast off going this way and leading with my left hand is a little difficult for me. Like I said, not left-handed, so it gets a little entertaining when I'm trying to do this from the left versus the right. All right, last stitch. So here's your last loop. And then I only have a little bit left on here, so I just pull this through. And then I make a knot on the end, kind of like we did with the neck part of the sweater. Okay, and then I cut that off. And there you go. So here's this part. Here is the body. I know it doesn't look big. Like I said, her length is 21, but I make it shorter. That way, you know, it doesn't get in the way if she wears it outside, or like if she goes to the bathroom or anything. Plus, she's still a puppy, so like I said, I make it small. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to connect the neck and the body. I got, this is the same type of yarn. It's the same type of yarn, but it's just the different color. So it's the Baby Bee, cuddly one, but I think this one was called like Rainbow or something like that. It makes these colors go together really well, and I really like it. So what you want to do you want to try to connect everything together. It's like this. So this is going to be in a circle here, okay? And I know this looks much bigger than like this, but I promise it works. So I'm going to show you how to connect these together. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to find, so like remember this was the beginning part of the neck collar, okay? That's why we left this little tail here. So you're going to find this stitch right here and they go around. Okay, so on the dog sweater, like the body part, you have your stitches also. So like here's the top, so you're going to match these up. That way you can like loop them together. And I'll show you how to do that. So, all right, so like I was saying, you want to, match these up together. Do the best you can. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take this yarn and push it through that little loop like I showed you guys. See? So it connects them, okay? All right, so I just pushed the yarn through there. What I'm going to do is come back around through that same first stitch where we pushed it through, okay? So now you have a loop, okay? So then I'm gonna go to the next stitch and go through, okay? So next stitch, go through and pull this through. Okay, just like that. Okay, so the next one, here's your next stitch on the collar, okay? So you go through there, go through the next stitch on the body part of the sweater, pull the yarn through, just like that. And you're gonna do this all the way around. Your stitches are not going to line up perfectly. I would say that for every stitch on the neck part of the sweater, you are going through every other stitch on the body part of the sweater. So like there, right here, and then, oh, sorry, right there, okay? And then pull this through. And then pull that yarn through. See, and it's starting to create a really pretty chain around it. Okay, so then we do another one. So this is like our loop that we still have. So we go through the stitch on the neck, then we go through stitch on the dog part of the sweater, the body part of the sweater, pull it through. Okay, so you have two now, and pull that through. And like I said, you just keep going all the way around. Sorry, it gets in the way a little bit. You just keep going all the way around. Until you get back to the front. See, so it's starting to look really pretty. Okay, so next stitch. Okay. Just like that. Okay. All right, so I just got to the last stitch, connecting them together. Okay. That one's already connected. There we go. Sorry. I might have gone a little bit tighter on mine than what I intended. Okay. So there we go. So it kind of looks like a little cape right now. So you have this gap right here. Like this is where we started tying them together. This was the start of the body part of the blanket. And you want to kind of get these to close together, okay? So let's do this. After you finish this stitch, you'll want to pull it through. So here, we'll go on ahead and do this real quick. Okay, so you made your last stitch and you're going to pull this through. Okay. Okay, so you cut that off. Now what I like to do is, like, all these loose things that we have going on here, I like to tie them together. That way that, you know, nothing comes undone. And then after that, we just cut off the excess. So this is where we finished tying everything together. This is where we started. So we're gonna go on ahead and pull like your extra through this stitch. You see how that helped pull it together? I'll do it again. So this is the stitch where we started. So you're going to take your excess, pull that, and then it pulls it together. And then again, we're going to tie another knot. And cut off the excess. So this was where we started the neck part. So I'm just gonna like loop this around in one of the stitches and again tie a knot with it. I know it doesn't seem like this method is probably the best way to do it, like tying all these knots and everything, but it works. It really helps hold everything together, and because this yarn is so chunky, you really can't tell. So here's like our little dog sweater cape. What I also like to do to help keep it on the dog is I will take some excess that I have here, and you'll kind of line it up so that you know it's not uneven. So these are your two ends right here that go around the dog. I'll put my fingers in between two of the stitches like this, and just tie a knot with it. This is going to, and you can do more than one stitch if you want, just so it's like, you know, extra tied together. This is going to help keep it on your dog. And it's literally as simple as, you know, just finding a stitch and tying a knot. Okay. And this is your dog sweater. This is where their front legs are going to go through. Pretty simple. And then let me show you what the finished product looks like on your pet. All right, and here is the finished product on your dog. She's not too thrilled right now. But as I showed you, this is where this is where their legs go through at, because we looped it under there and tied it together. See? So, sorry, other dogs. Doesn't she look so cute? And when it gets super cold, she's gonna love going out in it. So that is the tutorial on how to do a dog sweater. I hope you guys enjoy watching and learning just as much as I have enjoyed making this. I actually have another dog sweater to make for another customer. So maybe I'll be back on later this week and doing a tutorial on how to do that dog sweater with different yarn. I hope everybody has a great day.